Content warning. The following show contains smoking, some potty mouth language, discussions of possible fictitious violence, and a host that is so far under the weather that his voice sounds really funny. Viewer discretion is advised. Well, at least you said something. Yeah, it's true. We should probably start the music. Yeah, we should. We should do that. Matter of fact, let's give him a little extra music while we sneeze. Yeah, that works. Well, hello, everybody. How's it going out there? How you feeling? How you doing? How you feeling? Oh, thank you so much for the subscription, M10, and thank you guys. Thank you guys for being here. I am Solar Gray, the Cinematic Sorcerer, and I'm coming at you from the Wizard's Tower. And welcome to the Dark Side of the Room, the show where we talk about games, gaming, painting, making terrain, life. Do you know anything about life, Lisa? Do you know you are tearing me apart with all of your dated memes? And, of course, I like spending time with you. What is going on, Power Commander? Thank you very much, M10, for another month of subscriptions. And we have a lot to talk about today, all right? We're going to be talking about some serious stuff. Because I'm not going to lie, I had a great weekend, but I came back with a little bit of a sick bug. I don't think it's COVID, okay? Haven't taken a breath, or a test, but I can breathe, so it's probably not COVID. Either way, I don't feel all that great, but I owe it to you guys to be here today. My subscribers, my patrons, all my new people over on the YouTube. What's going on? No one, nobody. Thank you so much. I'm going to grow, Solar. Thank you. I am growing. I am doing the thing. I am going to grow. Yeah. That's how the movie started. Oh, well, that's nice to know. I hope you were watching The Stand. You know, go to Colorado, kick it with my grandmother singing, "What a friend we have in Jesus." So, I'm a little punch drunk, but if you guys want to talk to me or send me, some condolences or anything like that, well, all you got to do is pull up your email and type in back in the deck at gmail.com. That's BACKINTHEDECK at gmail.com. You can also reach out to me on Instagram. I'm finding out that Instagram is the new social media thing because nobody's on Facebook and all that stuff. So, it really is kind of a thing I'm trying to hold up and keep attuned out there and all that jazz. And of course, if you're on the TikTok, come check us out on the TikTok. I want to make some more TikTok videos. I just haven't quite figured out what niche I'm going to be going for. I do like a bunch of niches. And of course, if you are still on Facebook like I am, join the group Deckers on the Book, where we can talk and leave messages and stuff like that. That is a cool thing to do. So, I'm not going to lie, guys. Today might be a little bit of a short show. Also, if you guys find any value out of what we're doing, there are a couple of things you can do, okay? Number one, once Neon puts up the little link there, you can join our Discord and talk to us, reach out, do all that jazz. I haven't been getting the Discord announcements on my phone because it's an old Android, so I gotta make it a point to check it more periodically. But even if I'm not there, we got our dudes like the Harlequin and Xanathades and all those guys, always there hanging out, doing the thing. And if you got any value out of what we do, which I hope you do, I just put in the chat our Patreon, because we have a Patreon, our donate page, because we have a donate page, and a new thing that's going on. I say new. I've been doing this for a while, but I never talk about it. And the thing that I've been doing that I never talk about is we have a SoundCloud, guys. You guys can listen to this podcast on SoundCloud. I would say anywhere you get your other stuff, but right now I'm really trying to figure out how to get it up on iTunes. Oh, stop it, Google. Stop it. Just stop it. Yeah, I'm trying to get this stuff onto Stitcher and iTunes and Apple Podcast and maybe the Odyssey app and all that stuff. Just to try and get the community to grow, make sure that people are out there. So just head to soundcloud.com/BID_P because I'm very creative with my naming conventions. And everybody's so creative. That's right. You good? No, I'm not good. So, as I said, today we're going to be having a little bit of a short show. Just a little bit of a short show. Right there. What kind of a short show? Well, I gotta say, now that I'm checking all this and I'm making sure that everything is recording, and it looks like everything is recording, which is great. That is fantastic. I'm recording on all my fronts to try and get people into the podcast, into the show, make sure that folks are watching and all that jazz. So, I want to talk to you guys. Any clips from the previous episode? All clips? Just the whole previous episode will be up on SoundCloud by the end of every day that we do the show. So Monday through Friday. Although I was thinking about doing a clip show every week, just to not oversaturate the market. I'm not quite sure. I like podcasting every day. I really do. Wish I had more guests, but I live in Southern California, and here in SoCal, people flake by explaining to you that they flake. So that's their reason. It's like, oh man, I'm sorry, I flaked on you. Well, thank you for stating what happened. Now, I want to comment on something today. Today's subject is one that is very near and dear to my heart. Okay? And that is this. I know a lot of people, as you guys know, I counsel a lot of folks on the regular. Okay? And one of the things I got to put out there is there's a lot of change ed language. And what do I mean by that? Well, as you guys know, I'm an old man, and this is my podcast where we yell at cloud. One thing about being a little sick, a little sniffly, is that you can feel every nose hair. It's so weird. So, as I was saying, And when I talk to people, I get one phrase, okay, one phrase, a whole lot from people from um from the age of 9 to 92. And you know what that phrase is? Quote, but it's hard. End quote. Okay? I get that a lot. When I'm teaching how to play games, I've been in a grimdark future and I've been learning Warhammer 40K. Um, and I was able to do some stuff with the Graph Lab in LA this weekend. I'm putting those clips and stuff up on Instagram a little bit later. I think that's where I caught this cold. Um, and I got to teach some Grimdark Future to a bunch of people. We were at an art show, and back on the deck had an impromptu table set up with interactive art. So that is some good stuff. I talked to a lot of parents, and had one or two drunk people. And y'all know how I feel about interacting with drunk people. No, sir, I don't like it. But um, one of the things that I kept getting from people that are like, "Oh wow, Warhammer's here." I'm like, "It's interactive art, but it's not Warhammer, but tabletop miniatures games. It's art. We design this stuff, we paint it, and all that stuff. And anybody can do this stuff. Anybody can do it." And I'm like, "Yeah." So I was talking to some people, and it was kind of glorious, cause I was talking to some people, showing them the table. I'm like, "You guys want to play around?" I don't know. I don't know if I got time to play a whole round. I'm like, "Bro, you are at an art show, number one. And two, if you got 5 minutes to tell me that you ain't got time to do it, that means you've got 5 minutes to do it." All right? So I sat them down, and it was glorious. They were playing Grimdark Future because it's a lot easier to pick up in a demonstration sense than Warhammer 40K. And it was very cool. Had some kids. As soon as they saw people playing, they came in because nobody wants to be the first. It was actually really nice. It was really nice. It was practically glorious. I had a good time. It's a good thing that I have tables pretty much in the back of the truck, like at any time. It's a little weird. So, but I had one guy come up, ask the question about 40K, and it turns out he plays 40K. And as you guys know, you guys have been accompanying me on my new player journey through Warhammer 40K, which is neat. I appreciate it. And what has that got to do with anything? Well, Warhammer 40K and a lot of other things are difficult. And a lot of people keep telling me, "Oh, it's hard. This is hard. That is hard." And one of my character flaws is that I have had a very, very spirited and difficult life. Okay? A very spirited and very difficult life. So when people tell me, "Oh, but it's hard," I'm like, "Yeah, but hard does not mean impossible." Okay? What I've seen is in the modern day, if something isn't super intuitive and very easy, hang on, guys. I'll be right back. I'm expecting a call from the city of Los Angeles. Yeah, we'll be right back. That is always fun. Literally, the phone went off. I thought it was City of Los Angeles. Going, they're like, "Hey, this Glenn, this Glenn. Hey, bruh. Hey, yo, no, what's up? This Glenn." I'm like, "No, this is not Glenn." "You sure this ain't Glenn?" "Yeah, I know, dude. This is not Glenn." You know, I don't know when the last time my phone number was passed out at the Baltimore Hood old folks home, but it's a thing. Anyway, um, you're killing me, Neon. Yeah, the rules are easy. The hardest thing in Warhammer are the abs of the Battle Sisters. Well, they are covered in scars. Um, so like I was saying, a lot of folks have this idea that if something isn't super intuitive, super easy, um, and capable of being learned, mastered, and winnable within 5 minutes, then it's not worth doing. And it's interesting from my point of view. You see, at risk of sounding like a TikToker, we're Generation X. Nothing came easy to us. We were fairer children. We spent most of our time outside. You want to know what was really hard? Being told by your mom to get out the house. Get out. Go. you know. But yeah, I'm not really one for comparative pain. Because I come from the school of the person who stubs their toe for the very first time is going through just as much pain as the person who took their first bullet, and that amount of pain is the most they've ever been in up to that point in their lives, okay? That is how I look at it. That is how I feel. That is what I have observed over the course of my life, all right? I could be incorrect, but having done both of them, yeah, having stubbed my toe and taken a bullet, they both hurt like heck. But here's the thing. I see a lot of discouragement that comes down when people see a little bit of difficulty over something. And it's like, oh my God, that's difficult. Now, one of the things that psychologists call this is trauma avoidance, okay? Now, trauma avoidance comes in two flavors, all right? Situational avoidance or emotional avoidance, all right? That is a big thing. Now, a lot of people, especially introverts, gamers, folks like us, chances are one or two things over the course of our lives have kind of traumatized us, you know. And when it comes to the idea of opening ourselves up, being vulnerable to more trauma, the number one thing, and I get this from my folks all the time, is of course, nope. That is what we tend to do. Oh, it's a new game that I might get embarrassed at if I lose. Nope. It's not as easy to pick up as, say, Uno. Nope. It won't be as easy to me as the thing that I've been doing since I was 11 years old. Nope. And, one of the things I see is when that right there is your ethos, your life becomes very small and very jagged. And what do I mean by jagged? If we spend our time avoiding all difficulty, we also spend our time avoiding all growth. Okay? When I first started learning Warhammer 40K 3 months ago, it was fascinating. As you guys know, I'm a gamer. I've been playing these games for 20, 30 years of my life now. Let's see, I'm 46, so 31, 32 years or so. Well, with miniatures games, yeah, about 32 years. And that means I pick up on them pretty quick. I pick up on the rules. I get where they're at. Except I'm having a dickens of a time with Fallout Wasteland Warfare. I gotta find a decent instructional video on how to play that game because I'm having such a time trying to figure it out by myself. Um, but what I see a lot of people do is they give up really easily. Now, I'm not going to lie. Y'all know I have not wanted to play Warhammer 40K. And that comes from my own trauma response, okay? My trauma avoidance was I met some pretty jerky players, all right? Some serious gatekeepers that didn't even have the courage to state that they were keeping me out because of the color of my skin, okay? And I said, you know what? It might not be all 40K players, but since I don't know which ones are like that, I'm not putting myself in that position. And for years, I played other games as much as I could, but let's face it, that particular game has a lot of ubiquity. You know, I can't go anywhere with miniatures and people are like, oh, Warhammer 40K. I'm like, no, this is War Machine from Privateer Press. This is Battletech. This is Carnivale. This is Wasteland Warfare that I'm trying to figure out how to play. No, this is Star Trek Attack Wing. No, this is Gaslands. No, this is Rangers of Shadow Deep. You know, most people think that the most popular thing out there is the only thing out there, which is fair because how do you know? Every single marketing thing is like, this is not just the best, this is the only. There's an old statement in marketing that states when your brand becomes the verb for the service that you go, hey, what's going on? Hey, what's up, Chat Attack? What's going on? Let's see, been hearing so much about Warhammer lately, even though I've already played it and dug it. It definitely makes me want to get into Bolt Gun. Yeah, it's true, and you are more of a video game player, so that makes a lot of sense. All right. However, a lot of these games are difficult on the front end. Okay, I don't care if you're talking Warhammer 40K. If you actually read the rules to something like Twilight Imperium or HeroClix, there's a lot of complexity with a lot of these things. And I'll tell you this, since I've been out of video games since the PlayStation 1, how much of my life am I confining by not playing the Batman Arkham games because I can't quite figure out the controls? Like, that is a big hole in my life. And there's a lot of other things that are difficult on the front end that we all avoid doing, But this is one of the reasons I picked today's topic, because I was thinking about it a lot over the course of this weekend as I felt my nasal passages swelling up and this cold descending on me like Batman in a Nolan movie. I see so many people cut so much out that they tend to freeze themselves in one pocket of their lives where they were kind of comfortable, and it is inevitably the pocket of their lives that was more than 10 years ago. If you don't believe me, try and get your parents on TikTok. Oh, yeah, I spent so long trying to get the Facebooks going and all that stuff. I don't know if I want to learn another platform. Oh, it's all so confusing, But the thing is, most of the things that we love in life and we love doing, the stuff that we love doing or the stuff that we love experimenting or experiencing were difficult to create and difficult to manage. But somebody put in that work, okay? Let's face it, one of the best movie trilogies over the past 30 years has been The Lord of the Rings, all right? I got something to tell y'all. Making a good video with original music and the right filters, that's kind of difficult. Can you imagine a 14-hour movie trilogy epic with original music Costumes, wrangling actors, finding money, looking at the locations, renting the gear. That was some difficult stuff. But what would our lives look like if Peter Jackson had said, this is hard. I'm not going to do it. You know? Um, what would our lives look like if Christopher Nolan said, Batman? I'm not going to make this comic book movie. There's no way to make this realistic. Just watch the Adam West show. You know? Now, I was taught a long time ago that most things that are important or worth having are difficult. Now, I don't believe that all the way entirely. But what I do know is that there is no such thing as growth without pain. You get me on that? I don't care if you're working out. I don't care if you're in school learning. You know, all growth comes with a little soreness, you know. Don't believe me? Do 100 push-ups. Let me know how your arms feel tomorrow. But you do it every day, and eventually you can pick up a 90-pound bag of cement and walk it to the garbage can across the street. Sorry, that got a little personal. Like I said, I'm sick today. So that is one of the really big things that I want to help people get through. Okay, a lot of these games have a stupid amount of rules and not a lot of people that teach them. All right? I'll tell you. Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition is very easy for a role-playing game. But when it comes to Sorry, the board game from Hasbro, or Dungeons and Dragons, Sorry is a lot easier. Okay? Magic the Gathering is a pretty complex game, especially when you're building your own deck. But compare that to Uno, we're talking the difference between calculus and basic mathematics at a 5th grade level. And again, all of it's good. All of it's good. I love me some Magic the Gathering. I love me some Uno. I love me some Spades. I love me some Go. I love me some tabletop miniatures games. Because the thing about difficulty, and this is the part that literally makes me want to strangle people. Oh, but it's hard, so I don't want to try. Everything is difficult at the beginning. Everything. I know y'all can't remember, but ask your parents how many times you tried to stand up and walk before you pulled it off. You know, when we were little kids, we don't go, screw it, I'm just going to crawl around. It's easier than trying to say, I stand, oh, I fell down. Screw it. I'm just going to crawl, just going to keep crawling. That's it. You know, no, we learn to walk. We learn to run. Some of us learn to mumble. You know, and the only time we go, screw it, and walking's too hard, is when we're as sick as I am right now, or we are really, really, really drunk. From what I've heard, I actually don't get really, really drunk. So, I mean, me and alcohol, not a thing. But I've seen people drunk stand up and go, and then just lay back down. You know, however, when we do the things that are difficult until they become easy, we have a much larger selection of things to choose from. If you get decent at things that are difficult, and when I say decent, I mean when it's difficult at first and you get decent enough to where it's a little bit challenging, but you know what, it's fine. When I was a young budding musician, I started a cover band called Reasonable Facsimile, and this was literally a bunch of us were just kind of starting out, but we didn't want to be punk, you know? So we did classic rock covers. Did we do them radio perfectly? No. The name of our band is Reasonable Facsimile. We played them close enough for people to know what we were playing, and we were happy with that. You know? And that's the thing. Now, I know there's a lot of difficulty in this day and age. All right? Um, it's not just learning the new skill. All right, let's face it. This this platform, the Twitch and the YouTubes and all of that stuff, what I call YouTube University, it is amazing in the sense where we can learn just about anything. As long as we know what questions to ask that YouTube algorithm, it'll be like, oh, you want to learn some woodworking? Here you go. This is the guy who has the tools and all that stuff. And however, the difficulty comes in the same thing that I remember when I was a budding musician and I was learning how to draw as well. Okay, let's set the Wayback Machine to 1983. I watched a lot of PBS. I mean, a lot of PBS. All right, I had my cartoons. Okay, and when I wasn't watching cartoons, I was watching Reading Rainbow, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, Sesame Street because it ran for what seemed to be 18 hours a day. Um, California's Gold with Yul Hauser. The Frugal Gourmet was one of my favorite things. Even now when I'm in the kitchen cooking, I'm like, yeah, look at this. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that wonderful? Greg, come here and try. Anyway, dated reference. Um, but one of the things I saw was every single instructional video that came on, whether it was the paper crane episode of Reading Rainbow that got me into doing origami, or the many, many, many guitar videos that were on PBS. There was always, there was always the person that's doing it. Yeah, and all you have to do is this, and then we put the turkey in the oven, and they pull out this magnificent looking catalog based turkey that you look at in you look at on the screen, and all you need is like a tracking shot and some guitar music playing, and a guy with a comforting voice, or a woman with a comforting voice saying, this Thanksgiving, come to Kroger, we have turkeys on sale. Y'all know what I'm talking about, you can pull up the musical instructional videos, and you get that guy that's like, yeah, so all we do is we place our fingers here, and now we go to the fourth, and then we overlap it with the fifth, and we're going to go slow, okay? Now you try, and then we'll go regular speed. And all you can do is make this finger in your hand grow as hard as you can. And I'm saying the difficulty that comes isn't from the skill set itself, but it's in comparing yourself to the stuff that you see. Okay? That makes something difficult seem impossible. All right? If any of you guys have ever taken a martial arts class after watching a kung fu movie, y'all know what I'm talking about. The pros make everything look so easy. And what we don't see are the hours of blood, sweat, tears, bloody fingers, busted lips. One of the things about a lot of stuff that makes stuff hard nowadays is like, I watch a lot of YouTube because I don't like regular TV anymore. And I see YouTubers just tearing themselves and other people down for stuff they did 10 years ago when they had neither the skill set nor the modern tools. And they're like, those videos are garbage, blah, blah, blah. And the thing that makes stuff seem really, really difficult is this expectation for immediate mastery. And I'm letting you guys know that difficult is not impossible. And anyone that expects you to be Olympic level on your first day of gymnastics, there we go. Sorry, I know that's a little gross. I'm sitting up here plucking nose hairs. Anybody that wants you to be Olympic level on your first day of gymnastics are not the people by whom's metric you should be measuring yourself. Okay? Yeah. A lot of stuff is really difficult. Really difficult. All right? When I teach, I do my best to let my students know that the only expectation I have of them is for them. Hey, Con! Again, this is what I look like when I'm broadcasting sick. There we go. Oh. One of the things I always try and let my students know is the only thing I really expect of them for them to do their best to go 3 inches further than they did in the last class. Okay? A lot of stuff is difficult, guys. But when we look at the difficulty of something from the onset, a lot of it may seem overwhelming. Okay? However, the really, really, really big part about it is one of my favorite words. Thanks, Con. And bro, I'm lighting a candle for you for Friday. Okay? One of my favorite words that I learned in one of the most terrible jobs I ever had was the word aggregate. Okay? I sold landscape supplies, and aggregate stone was just a whole bunch of pebbles from a whole lot of different other places that people pour down in their garden or in their library or wherever it is that you want ground covering. Okay? And that's the thing. You can look at an aggregate thing and be like, oh my God, that is too much. But when you take a look at something and you look at the bag of aggregate stones, 5 or 6 pebbles at a time, you can pick up 5 or 6 pebbles at a time. You can pick up a whole handful. You know? You can pick up a handful, throw it in a bucket. Handful, throw it in a bucket. You do that long enough, and eventually you've moved the whole bag. You know? I think I did 14 consecutive episodes of the new player journey while I was learning the Warhammer 40K rules. There's a lot of rules. There's a lot of timing. Is it possible for me to play a game of 40K and win? Maybe. You know, will I be going and cleaning up at any tournament? No. Can I have my friends that know how to play come over and we can play and laugh and have a good time? Yeah, after I'm not sick anymore. You know, and I achieved my goal there. And that's the next part of difficulty. A lot of the times, we see something new, and we don't just compare ourselves to what I like to call the YouTube second masters. Hey, those are the people who are amazing at stuff that are always telling us that they're not that great. I'm like, I'm glad that you're being humble, but quit lying. All right? Folks like Eric's Hobby Workshop, Black Magic Craft, Wylock's Armory, you guys are amazing, okay? And you're really amazing to people who are just starting out, you know? I often tell these stellar artists that I know, be it musical artists, dance artists, and stuff like that, I let them know that not only are they good, they're better than I want to be. Hey, I don't really have high ambitions. I like doing a lot of things. But as much as I love the stomp stomp clap of We Will Rock You, I don't plan on being a champion at anything. Okay? I just want to make a living, but I don't need to be in a family business. I never wanted this. I don't mind being the one dancing on the strings of all those big shots. You know? I just want to enjoy the stuff that I do. So when I'm here and I'm teaching you guys how to build terrain, how to paint miniatures, a lot of you guys are going to take what I show you and go to the moon with it. And I am so looking forward to that. Seriously. And a lot of you guys might see what I do and be like, I can never do that. And I'll let you know, there was a time that I thought the same thing. However, a decent amount of time practicing things that are a little difficult. I'm not talking run a marathon every day to build your cardiovascular. Okay. I'm just talking run around the block slowly, kind of jog around the block. And if you do it long enough, it'll become easier. You know, you'll eventually go from being able to jog around the block once to being able to jog around the block once and not be winded, to eventually being able to jog around the block 1.5 times, and then to be able to run around the block 1.5 times and not be winded. That's how it goes, guys. Okay? But the thing is, people feel good when they accomplish stuff. All right? And I don't know what it is. I really don't. But there's a lot of us that believe that we're supposed to know everything. We're supposed to be good at all that stuff. And when I say that stuff, I mean just about anything, you know. But there is a joy that comes from learning. We talked about the aha moment last week. And if we never leave our comfort zones, if we never do things that are a little difficult or are hard, okay, we close the door to those aha moments. Because the stuff that isn't hard, it's not hard because we understand already. We get it. We've practiced. We got all that stuff, you know. And again, I'm a gamer, but I'm also blackety black. I cannot tell you what an arm twist it can be sometimes trying to get my family members to play something other than spades, Monopoly, or Uno. You know, I'm like, hey, check it out. It's called Settlers of Catan. And they're like, nah, man, it ain't spades. I'm good with spades. And that's like the only thing they want. And some of them are genuinely happy. Okay, 2 of them are genuinely happy. Let's see. Your approach to these things is why I've been just writing every idea as I get them, Solar. Ask him, Tim. I randomly message ideas. I randomly message about ideas. Ask the time now. You just have to keep taking steps. They turn into miles very quickly, and suddenly you're at the next destination planning another journey. Exactly. Little bit. One idea, you know? Now, I'm not saying that if you can really throw down in spades, you should jump to Warhammer 40K. All right? I'm not saying if you're decent at poker, you should jump straight into diplomacy or Twilight Imperium. What I am saying is every new experience, every new challenge that comes out, every new character class, new skill set, new set of spells, everything that you learn that pulls you outside of your comfort zone makes you a little bit bigger, you know. It puts you in a position of not living up to one of my favorite songs when I was growing up. You ain't gotta wish that you were a little bit taller. You don't gotta wish you were a baller, you know, because you're practicing that jump shot. You're practicing your rebounds, you know. But again, I know too many people, especially out here in Southern California, that go, it's hard, I'm not going to try, you know. And I'm not saying they don't find joy in stuff, but what I am saying is the joys that they find in stuff is so limited that when they can't get the dopamine hits from the 5 things they like, they spend their time miserable. You know? Do you get to wish that you were a shot caller? You're the GM, dude. I just wish I had a girl who looked good. I would call her. No, I'm kidding. I really wish I had a rabbit in a hat with a bat and a 6'4" Impala. Anyway, but yeah. So when we look at at these things that are difficult, let's take half a moment. Just half a moment to be like, what am I scared? What am I scared of? I'm looking at this difficulty. Because I'll tell you, you're like, oh man, why are you talking about fear? Because most of the things we avoid because we're afraid of something. Okay, we're trying to keep ourselves comfortable and safe. In my experience, we're trying to save ourselves from embarrassment. Because I come from a culture where we clown everybody for everything. You know, it's like, oh man, I thought I was out of clubs. If you really knew what you was doing, let me tell you. Let me tell you real quick. When I was a young budding bass player, I could afford a bass, but I couldn't afford a case. Okay, I couldn't afford a case for it, and I had way too many old black men challenging me in way too many ways. Okay, the so much gatekeeping. They say, "Oh, you got a guitar on you, so you should be able to play anything I come to mind." You know that one Bobby Blue Bland song that came out, and he was like, "Hey, hey, hey." You should be able to play that. You can't call yourself a bass player. You can't play that. Hey, 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 Bobby Blue Bland. And I'm sitting up like, oh man, you don't even know the name of the song. How you tell him? I ain't a musician. You the one with the instrument. You should be able to play that whole thing. And I'm just going, ah. I'm like, look, I don't know how to play what you talking about, but I can play this. And I would rip out like a Cliff Burton bass line or something from Tool or, you know, a couple of the James Brown or Earth, Wind, and Fire stuff that I knew. And why? Because I wasn't afraid of getting clowned, you know? And believe me, when you got an 80-something-year-old drunk guy, you know, what do we got, Con? Old black man talking music is exactly like this. I don't even let on I sing any of it around. Exactly. Exactly. I just, yeah, that, you know? Or what you know about music, young boy? I want you to tell me the F sharp scale, but I want you to miss the fifth. What notes go in that? I'm like, why don't you tell me? You know, because a lot of people around here, crabs, just trying to pull you out of the bucket. But if you're not afraid of that, then you can go about learning anything. You can do anything that is difficult if you do it in time. Okay? I mean, that's a real big thing. The thing that really taught me this was Stephen King's book, The Stand. Hey, I think I was in 7th grade when The Stand Unabridged came out. All right? Unabridged. Okay? That was 2,500 pages of Stephen King writing. I did not do it in one sitting. Real talk, I did not do it in a month. And I was a prolific reader, but still, I could do maybe 200 pages in a day, you know? But, yeah, exactly. Muddy water, honeybee, so sing, so sing every BB King track that was a B-side. Exactly, They come up, oh, you Lenny Kravitz, Hendrix looking guy, You're like, oh, that one Bootsy Collins thing? It goes, boom, 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 yeah. And, but you know what? I did eventually read it. I read all of it, all 2,500 pages. I just didn't do it all at once. Okay? I didn't have the Clockwork Orange gadgetry to freaking pry my eyes open and freaking glue the book to my hands going, What did she say? What a friend we have in Jesus. That wasn't me, But I did it eventually. And the next time I got a book that wasn't 2,500 pages, got through it quick, And that was one of the things. In one of my many management courses that I've taken over the course of my life, they told me, start with the most difficult. Start with the hard thing. I tell all of my music students, you want to learn the bass, get a bass, but don't spend more than $120. Okay? And they're like, "Oh man, but I want an Ernie Ball Music Man. I want a Federa. I wanted that." Yeah, that's great. You know, um, get yourself a piece of crap one, a piece of crap bass, a piece of crap guitar, and after you practice with it, and your fingers are hurting, and you get upset, and you drop the thing a couple of times, and you throw it across the room a couple of times, then you pick up a model up, one or two models up, and you'd be surprised at how far you go. But you know how to take care of it. You know how to, do the thing. Like I said, a lot of people, when they pick up an instrument, they want to be like, you know, when they sit down and paint a miniature for the first time, they just want to wave the brush over it and Michelangelo. Well, unless you got a history of doing art, that ain't gonna be you. I'm sorry, you know. I know one dude that was able to get stuff above tabletop quality just by reading the painting instructional book in the back of a game. One, just one, and that was my old gaming mentor, Norm. But this guy was a graphic designer for a Fortune 500 company, and he graduated from the Joe Kubrick School of Art. So, yeah, transferring his 25 years of art training to 3 dimensions wasn't that big of a step for him. For me, I'm good at picking out colors. But look at this. See this? This hand is steady as a rock, but this is the one I paint with. So yeah, I don't have that muscle memory. I can't do that jazz. That ain't me. Me trying to draw a straight line, I can't draw a straight line with a square. Okay, that's one of my many weaknesses. And I really don't feel like practicing enough to do it. But here's the thing. When I look at drawing straight lines, I don't just nope out, you know. I figure out other ways around it just so that I can have some more joy. And this is what I'm talking about, guys. Okay? Yes, there are a lot of things that are difficult. Talking to people can be difficult. Going to a new city can be difficult. Learning a new skill, learning a new game. All of this stuff can be difficult, but that does not mean that it is impossible. Just take it a little bit at a time. But I don't know. That's literally me going, "Hey, but what do I know?" So let me know what you think. All right. Leave a comment if you're on YouTube. Leave a comment about the stuff that was hard when you first started. Let some people know. Hey, a lot of stuff was hard, but I kept doing this. I did little steps and all that stuff. Let me know what your experience is. And you can do that by sending me an email at backinthedeck@gmail.com. It's BACKINTHEDECK@gmail.com, or reach out to me. I'm calling it Twitter, okay? I don't care if it's now X, because I don't really want to spend that much time of my day sitting on X. I'm like, am I talking to Malcolm? Am I talking to the many women who have broken up with me? What am I talking about? So I'm going to just call it Twitter just to save myself the headache that I feel growing. And you can also hit me up on Instagram. And if you are on TikTok, follow us on TikTok. TikTok videos are kind of difficult for me right now, but I'm getting better. And I want to do a few more things. I'd love to do TikTok sketches. I just haven't figured out how to get past my hatred of editing. And of course, reach out to me on Deckers on the Book. Thank you guys on YouTube for liking what you see. That really helps me out with the algorithm. And if you guys find value in what you're seeing here, I just put up right there. If you're watching on YouTube, it's all in the description. the donation button, the Patreon button, and the button to our merchandise shop. We've got the merchandise, you know. Get yourself a coffee cup. That's what I gotta say. I'm gonna be getting myself a coffee cup because y'all watch me drink coffee every day. Alright? So with that, I gotta say thank you guys for being here. Thank y'all for holding it down. You know, I'm really glad that you guys are here. Thank you. And what's going on, Julian? Don't think I don't see you. I see you lurking. Alright, I see you. But if anybody tells you that you guys can't like what you like, you can't learn something, or something is too hard for you because of the circumstances of your birth, be it race, religion, creed, gender identity, sexual orientation, disability, neurodivergency, or spice as some of us like to call it, or your budget, because anybody that's ever been to one knows the trailer park is never too far from the hood. You can just look those people dead in their eyes and say, take that card and put it back in the deck. I'm Solar Gray, the Cinematic Sorcerer, and we will see you next time on the dark side of the road.